I'm gonna get our video started. Everybody should have had a chance to jump on. I see a couple of folks are kind of jumping in and out, so they may have some technical difficulties, but there'll be plenty of time for them to join us. So welcome to you all. I'm quickly gonna get ready to share my screen. It's so great to see so many students on the call. Just so our Code Schools team knows, if any students are missing the call because of other obligations, they will be able to view the recording later. So we are recording this call. This is a safe space. Please feel free to come onto camera whenever you have questions, or on camera now. We'd love to see your faces. If you don't feel comfortable doing so, that's fine, but you will be expected to be involved and engage, to introduce yourself today and to ask questions when it's time. So that said, I'm gonna share my screen, which has a lot going on. All right, let's go over a few meeting norms. So thank you for being on time to our interest meeting today. That's our first norm. Everyone has been asked to come prepared with informational interview questions. If you don't have those questions with you now, please make sure you have a pen and a paper handy, or even open up another screen on your laptop and take down any questions that you have while you're listening to the presentation. It's important that you capture your thoughts and your questions so we can answer them in this space. We're going to ask that you keep yourself on mute unless you are speaking, so we can hear the speaker and give them our full attention. Turn on your camera whenever possible. Like I mentioned, this is a safe space. Please, please turn on your camera. Let us see your faces if you're comfortable. We would love that. And then make sure that you're present and in the moment. So we're not going to be texting. I actually have my phone turned off. We're just going to avoid any distractions other than this meeting for the 55 minutes that we'll be here together. Is that okay? Do we all agree with those norms? You can always respond to me in the chat. You can always give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up and for that yes. So we'll move on. So we've already been through our norms. Here's our agenda. We're going to introduce ourselves in the space. So I'll give everybody the chance to come off mute and introduce themselves. Then we're going to go on to our Meet the Mentor. So this is your time to listen, write down questions, be very thoughtful about what you're hearing. And then we'll transition into the informational interview, and that's really your time to shine, where you'll get to ask anything that you want to and really get an idea whether or not this internship is a good fit for you. And then finally, I'll jump back in just to go over next steps to see if anyone has any next steps. Any questions about the agenda? Okay. Okay, great. All right, so let's move on. We're going to introduce ourselves. So I'm going to stop sharing because I want to see folks and know who's speaking. And then we'll go around and introduce themselves. I'm going to start, and then I'm going to pick someone to go next. And I'd like for you to do the same. You can start and then choose somebody to go next. So my name is Tia Hall. I am the Director of Real World Learning at Vox Big Picture High School. Welcome to all my Vox students and all my El Centro students. Y'all don't know me, but I love y'all. And so it's great seeing you on the call today. This is my second year at Vox Big Picture High School, and I'm so excited about starting the year, even with all this craziness that's going on. And so that's it about me. And then I'm gonna pick Nate to go next.
Hi, my name is Nathan Leary. You can call me Nate. I'm a student at El Centro de Estudiantes, and I'm in 12th grade.
Can you pick someone to go next, Nate?
Galante.
Hi, I'm also Nate. I'm at El Centro. I've been there for, this is my third year. Yeah, this is my third year there. So yeah, I will pass it to Roger.
Awesome, cool. So should I introduce myself now? Yeah, that's cool, right? Yeah. All right. All right, sweet. So what's up, guys? My name is Roger. I am with Code Schools. I am actually the Chief Curriculum Officer, and will be your instructor during the cohort that's going to be going on. And I'll tell you a little bit more about me during the presentation. And I'll go ahead and pass it on to Raymond.
It's actually pronounced Raymond, but you know, close enough.
Thanks.
Well, I repronounced my name. I'm a student of El Centro, and I'm in 12th grade.
Thanks, Raymond. Who you gonna pick?
Gabriel.
My name Gabriel Euros, and I'm from El Centro, and I don't know if I'm in 12th or 11th. Which one of them? I gotta look it up and go see.
That's okay, Gabriel. Who you want to pick to go next?
James Williams.
Hi, my name James. I go to Vault Picture High School, and I'm in the 12th grade.
Thank you, James. You want to pick somebody?
Ashanti.
Ashanti is on you.
Yes. What do I have to say?
Introducing yourself, Ashanti. Your name. You could say your grade, and then pick
I'm
somebody.
Ashanti. Okay. Well, I'm Ashanti Sidibe. I'm in the 12th grade. Who's in here? I don't know who's in here.
Who didn't go? Let me see. How about Juan?
My name is Juan, and I'm from Vox Big Picture, and I'm in the 10th grade.
Thank you, Juan.
You're welcome.
Who do you want to go next?
Akira.
My name is Akira. 10th grade, Vox Big Picture.
Thank you, Akira. Let me see who we have next. We have Enya.
Hi, my name is Enya. I go to Vox Big Picture High School, and I'm in the 12th grade.
James, did you go?
Yeah, I went.
All right, who do I have left? Let me see. If you come off mute, if you didn't introduce yourself yet for me.
Greg.
Hi, Greg.
How you doing? I'm Greg. I'm the IT specialist here at Vox Big Picture Philadelphia. I'll be here as a support for the students.
Excellent. Thank you, Greg.
No problem.
Okay. Kareem, you just joined us. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Actually, I was here from the start.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
My name's Kareem. I'm in 11th grade, and I go to Vox Big Picture High School.
Excellent. Thank you, Kareem. All right. Did I miss anyone else? I know Mark didn't go introduce himself yet, but I miss any other students? All right, on you, Mark.
Okay, Mark DeMayo. I'm the CEO of Code Schools. We've been working with Tia to try to put this program together for Big Picture for the 2 high schools. I'm glad everybody was able to make it. And I'll be giving part of the presentation and then turning it over to Roger to actually give you a demo of what the class is going to look like for your experience.
Excellent. Well, thank you everyone who took the time to introduce themselves. We are actually going to go ahead, I'm not even going to share my screen again, because we're going to go ahead and transition right into Roger and Mark's presentation. So as I mentioned before, make sure that you take notes. If you don't have those questions with you today, take notes anyway, right? We're always learning something new. And I've learned pretty quickly with Code Schools, there's always something to learn. They're teaching me every time I'm on a call with them. So You guys can, I'll turn it over. It's all on you. I'll be on mute, but I'll be here.
Awesome. Cool. Let's set up really quickly for us to get started, and we'll take less than a second.
Okay. So Roger, I'll go ahead and do the intro of what the program is while you get ready to set up and display. So Code Schools, what we will be doing is half of what we call Full Stack Academy. Full stack from a development, from a teaching perspective, is we teach you the front end and the back end of development. Given the limited number of hours and time commitment that we'll have for the school system, we won't be able to teach you everything. So the first year, this year, is going to focus on HTML5, CSS3, and JavaScript. So you'll be basically able to build any front end application with the same tools. You will also learn, and Roger will demonstrate this, code versioning check-in with GitHub. We'll be using Slack as our communication channel. So you'll be able to work on your project teams or with your class, or you can reach out to the other students that have taken the class. They're sometimes online, ping them when you need help. But basically, this is a development methodology that we've come up with that we used to use when we would hire developers who didn't have the experience we wanted, or we were retraining somebody in our company, and we would basically do an immersion program for them. So there will be a lot of things coming at you quickly. We usually call it the Lego experience. If you liked building Legos, this is the type of class that you'll find interesting, because you'll be learning and building websites in your own portfolio of applications that you've built with us. And as you'll see, I think Roger will show you some examples of what the last class did. They were basically high school students who went through a 5-week full-time program, 24 hours a week. And he'll show you some examples of what they were able to build after that class. The second half of this class, in case you wondered what full stack is, that's where you get into Java, REST API, SQL, basically the back and Node.js, which is the back end applications. So we're going to focus on the front end for this year, and then if this rolls. So who do we usually recommend this class for? You know, if you look at who the 18 of the 20 richest people in the world are, they're all technology guys. You know, it's Facebook, it's Google, it's Amazon. You know, it's those things that are changing the world around us. You know, digital transformation is the hot buzzword. Everybody's trying to become more automated, more productive. There is developer requirements everywhere. One of the companies I work for now, I actually position Mexico and Ukraine because there's not enough developers in the US. So this class is recommended for anybody that has an interest in getting into the IT skills, whether it's potentially working as a web developer, application support, even doing things such as sales and recruiting. The more you know about technology, the better off you will be positioned for the future. If you have a curiosity how things work, you know, if you ever open up your screen and you see all the sort of scribbly stuff going on, well, that's the Java code. What does all that code actually do? If you have an interest in doing anything in any type of science technology field in college, if you're planning on going for a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree, most students now have to take some type of MIS class. This will give you those foundations to make those classes much easier. So again, that's sort of why you take this. And again, it's going to be a lot of thinking. It's a lot of logic. You know, it's not the easiest thing to learn. But the one thing we do a fairly good job of is, because we built this support system, and Roger will demonstrate it, with the Slack channel, with having all the videos online, being able to search through the text and all that, you have the potential to refresh everything that you saw. You have the examples to go through. We sort of set this up to help make it easier for us to help you debug your programs, because that's actually what we find with these courses, especially in college. The most frustrating thing for students are, you go, the instructor gives you a lesson, gives you an assignment, you go off, try to build it, it doesn't compile, it doesn't work, it blows up. and nobody's there to help you walk through why it's doing what it is. So most students wind up dropping out, which is one of the reasons why there's such a shortage of IT professionals. Because we use the code versioning and all that, we actually have a fairly good idea what you changed, what you did, and we have enough experience that to look around and go, okay, this is where you made your mistake. This is how you would rectify it, but this is what you need to understand what you did and why you did it, so that you can go ahead and continue the progression through the class. So in a nutshell, I mean, if you have any interest in any of the information technology fields, if you're looking at anything in science, data analytics, finance, accounting, you know, the more you know about technology, the better off you will be positioned for the long run in your career. You know, it's not unusual that I've hired people out of high school. When I was, so if any of you have a track phone or straight talk, I was CIO of that company. I probably hired 20 kids out of different high schools, different years I was there. And most of them started as either testing, QA, computer operators, application support, or DevOps. And, you know, they used that to get their start. They did, you know, they gained the skills while they were on the job. And then some of them left for more money. Some of them have been promoted up over time. But again, it's one of those things. This is a field where it's constantly evolving. There's new things coming. You know, you hear us talk about AI. You hear us talk about machine learning. You hear us talk about big data. Those all still have a basis in the fact that you know how to code. And because you know how to code and you know how to read and study this information, how to use groups, how to do research by Google and all that, you have the potential to keep acquiring these skills as things change. And that's what allows information technology specialists to basically, from whenever they first come in, to double their salaries in their first 5 years. The reason is because most senior people in any new technology only have 3-4 years experience to begin with. So that's the upside of this profession and being able to get involved with it early. But again, if you are interested in you know, how computers work, how the internet works, you know, how e-commerce works, you know, what APIs are doing, you know, how gaming works, you know, these again are the foundation blocks that you need to know to survive that higher learning curve of learning additional skills. So let's go ahead. I'm going to turn it over to Roger, because I think when you see how we do the class, what it looks like, how we do the training, and then we'll also describe how we're going to do this program. One of the constructs we deal with in this program is we only have you for an hour a week. So Roger's going to explain how we're going to turn that hour into 4 hours a week and what support we're going to provide you to make sure you guys all succeed in this class. Go ahead, Roger.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. Cool. So let me go ahead and get started. Cool. So how are you alive? I'm always wondering how computers work, even like as soon as I started off, how all that stuff works about. So in this course, as Mark was saying, you'll find out how computers work and how you're going to be able to write software to run on those computers. So I know most of you are here just checking the water, see if it's warm enough for you guys to get in. So let me break down how this is going to work out. So as you know, the course is going to be divided into sections. And the first section, we're going to be learning how to create websites. Now, websites by themselves are pretty cool, and which means you're going to be able to create websites for any business idea that you have or any relatives that you have, and also any portfolios that you might want to create yourselves. But we're also going to be making those websites interactive. And of course, we got to make websites interactive or else users get bored of everything that's going on and just leave your website. For the second part of this course, we're going to be creating web apps. I'm sure most of you are familiar with how web apps work or how applications work, and they work exactly how the applications on your phone work. The only difference between websites and interactivity and what we're going to be learning about is that when we go into web apps, we're actually going to be also storing information in the cloud. And we're going to teach you how to be able to store information in the cloud and how to retrieve that information back. Cool. So this is pretty much what's going to be covered in the course and in the split of that course. Now, how are we going to learn this? Now, Mark did touch about this a little bit, but we're going to be running lectures every week. And the lectures are going to be about specific concepts that you need to learn for that specific week. So the lecture will cover concepts. Cool. Now, to reinforce those concepts that you're going to learn, we're going to provide you with activities. So once you learn the concepts, you're going to apply those concepts in actual activities that we're going to give you, whether that be mock-up websites or business or hypothetical business that you got to create web applications or websites for. On top of that, you're also going to have 1v1, and I don't mean 1v1 as in PvP, 1v1 versions with me, and in those sections, you can talk about, you can review any activity that you had trouble with the past week, or we can just talk. I love talking about tech. That's why I'm in. Awesome. Now, Mark did mention, and we're also going to give you access to our Slack channel. In our Slack channel, you're going to be seeing all of our community that has graduated already from this course, and they're just hanging around, always looking forward to answering questions that you might have. Cool. So that's what we're going to learn. That's how we're going to do it. And I also wanted to give you a quick example of both of these things. So for the first step, we're going to be creating mockups. And mockups is literally like programming is literally an art form. So first, you're going to be able to design your website. So let's say you wanted a website that looks a little bit like this. Maybe it has a little bit of information about you. Maybe it has a footer down here that has like, I don't know, your Twitter handle, your Facebook, whatever it is that you want to show. I'm going to go ahead and put here land mammal. That's my Twitter handle, by the way. And so yeah, so when we're creating websites, it's literally an open canvas. So I always want my students to think of yourselves literally like this. It's not a bunch of code. It has to do a lot with what it is that you want to create, what it is you want to take out of your brain, the idea that you have, and actually put it on a web page. So you may change this idea anytime that you want. Maybe you want a logo here. Maybe you want a couple of links here. Maybe you decided to go with a gallery of images displaying stuff that you like. But once you have your design ready and your mock-up ready, and you know this is how you want your website to look, that's when we turn this design into actual code that's going to be representing of your design. So we don't start with the code and try to like figure out stuff out from there. First, we start from the idea, and then from the idea, we translate it to code. So this is pretty much what we're going to be doing the first section of this course. Now, for the second section of this course, we're going to get into programming. Now, our programming is going to be a little bit different, and the programming language that we're going to be learning is JavaScript. As Mark was saying, there's going to be a lot of logic involved with this, and of course, we're going to be doing this the hard way, so we're going to be learning programming language by following a video game like this one that I have behind me. This is a simple platform game where the little characters just going around capturing coins, and this is how we're going to get an introduction into JavaScript so that you guys can learn a little bit more how we use that to make websites interactive. Awesome. Cool. So before we get a little bit deeper into this, let me give you a quick tour of all the tools that Mark talked about. Let me share my screen with you guys. There we go. Gotta minimize you. Awesome. Awesome. So we're going to give you access to our portal, and this is where you're going to be coming in and logging in, and we'll give you a way for you to register on here with your own very code. Let me go on in there right now. Once you get in there, the first task that we're going to ask you guys is to set up your computers. This is so you can develop in the computers that you have right now. You can follow us at home. And also after this course is over, you're going to have everything set up like a professional developer has it set up, so you can create applications or games or whatever it is that you want to do. In this same website, we're also going to provide you with a bunch of videos. So in case that lecture that I went through, I just went through fast. As you're noticing right now, I talk really fast. So you can always come on here and check it out, slow down however you want. If you want to go through different stuff that you want to check out. Oh, I remember Roger was talking about the modern web. He was talking about command line. This is what this get lit comes about. So you can always check out these videos whenever time you want. Now, down here, we also provide the main idea that we're trying to introduce you that week. And we also have these two links on here. Now, these two links lead up to our support. And if you click on this one, I already have it open here on the side, we'll open up our Slack channel. And our Slack channel is here where you can ask any questions regarding any activity that you're tackling at the current moment. There's always a bunch of alumni on here. And if we actually look over here in our, I think it's class announcements, we actually have a new cohort that just joined. So you guys will be almost starting with this cohort from Vero Beach is starting as well. So this is gonna be very cool. Cool. We also have our repo, which is what Mark was talking about, where you're gonna be actually getting all of our activities from. So this is an example of one of the folders that's gonna have all of your activities, and this is how all the activities will be laid out for you. Each of these activities will have a solved folder and a non-solved folder. So for example, we will send out to you guys an unsolved version of an activity. And then after you tackled it for a couple of days, we'll go ahead and show you guys the way that we solved it, and we'll give you access to that so that you can implement it throughout the course where you're creating your actual project. Awesome. So this is all the tools that you're going to be getting from us. Again, there's a bunch of us on here, developers, alumni that you can always talk to and reach out in there. Cool. So now that we cover all of that, let me just say a little bit about me. So as I mentioned, my name is Roger. I am 30 years old. I like playing video games. I actually play StarCraft 2 hours a day religiously. That is my favorite game. And I'm also a big fan of Bitcoin. So one thing that I forgot to show you guys is that we're gonna give you weekly assignments. And if you complete those weekly assignments, I'm gonna be rewarding you with Bitcoin. Hopefully a lot of you know what Bitcoin is. This is my Bitcoin ATM. I'm very a fanatic of Bitcoin. So we're gonna be giving you Satoshi. Satoshis is like the penny version of Bitcoin. And we're gonna give you about 1,000 Satoshis per activity completed. Awesome. So I think we took up a lot of time on there, but that was pretty quickly. So with that said, I am open to questions and anything that you guys want to know.
Thank you so much for that, Roger. I think that was such a great, snapshot of what the students were going to learn, and hopefully they were able to write down questions that they may have. And so we are going to turn it over to you. Now's your time to really ask what questions that you have at this time. So I just really want you, I always like to take the time to say to students, be thoughtful about like what questions you have. If you already came prepared with questions, you want to know things about how this program would work for you, what this will look like, how often you're going to be expected to do the work. And I'm not going to give you too many questions. I'm not going to give it all away, but I want you to ask everything that you want to know to be able to make an informed decision about whether or not this internship is for you. Okay? So I'm going to be quiet, and anybody who has questions can start asking them.
Hey, Roger, real quick, can we give them some examples from the last high school cohort?
Yeah, sure.
The summer, just so they can sort of see the types of apps that. So one of the things you guys will all be doing is you'll all be doing a group project or your own a single assignment. We still got to work out the details, but these are some of the things that the last high school class built with the same information you're going to be getting training.
Let me pull that up a while.
While you're pulling that up, there is a question in the chat from Amy. Amy's told me earlier on that she's had some problems coming off mute. She has challenges with Zoom, but she has a question about they're using the school laptops, but what program are they going to be doing coding on?
Yeah, so Amy, we're going to be doing our coding in something called Visual Studio Code, and is a program by Windows. So you're going to have access to that, and we're also going to be doing what is it called? Besides Visual Studio Code, we're going to use a program called Node that's going to be able to get installed on your computers as well. Now, we do have a list of all the websites that we need access to, and we're going to be sending that website, if they are blocked, to whoever's in charge of the IT, so you can have access to that. But where we're actually going to be writing the code is going to be called Visual Studio Code. Did that answer your question, Amy? Yeah?
I'd like to piggyback off of that because the laptops that we got from the school district are just like really old, bad Chromebooks, and I've had like real issues installing like Windows software and everything. So is that gonna be a problem?
Interesting. So I literally just finding out that it's a Linux beta Chromebook. So if it's Linux based, we're going to be able to do something because we're going to be learning also the command line and how to write commands in Linux based system. And if you've been having trouble installing Windows applications, like say, for example, Visual Studio Code, and yeah, MacBooks are going to be perfectly fine because MacBooks actually run on a flavor of Linux, so that's going to work out fine if you're on a MacBook. And but yeah, I think we got to run a couple of examples on that, see if that works on those Chromebooks.
I think
Yeah, if you could let us know,
that,
Roger, if it's going to be a problem, like we need to know what they need to have access to, and if those students are having challenges or aren't able to access what they need to, then you can let Nina and myself know, and we can take care of that.
Yeah. Hey, Tia, if we can set up a call tomorrow with your ASAP with your tech guy. I think he's actually on the call.
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah, Greg. If we can set up a follow-up call with him, and at least between him and Roger, so we can go through. So everybody has the same type of laptop, right?
I'm not sure because it is two different schools, but we'll work with Nina and I set up something with our IT folks and you guys to make sure we get our students squared away.
Okay. I mean, the good thing is a lot of stuff you're doing is in the cloud. So there are ways around it. We just have to know to figure it out.
Excuse me, but if you need the IT manager at Vox's email, I have it because he's one of my mentors. So do you want me to drop that in the chat?
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah.
If you can do that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get everyone connected, Kareem. Thank you. Thanks so much for that, Kareem Bell. Thanks for jumping in with that.
But is this gonna be like code, like for the website coding? Are we gonna be doing like HTML and CSI stuff? I mean, not CSI, but you know what I mean.
CSS. Yeah.
Because I've done something similar to this before about 2 years ago.
Very cool. Yeah, we're going to be doing HTML and CSS to start off with, and we're also going to be introducing something called Bootstrap, which is a framework that allows you to build quicker than just writing the HTML and the CSS manually.
All right.
You called it a Bootstrap or Blue Trap?
Bootstrap.
Sorry, Miss Tia, but I have to leave because I have my club waiting, and I'm gonna have to start some sort of stuff out with them.
Okay. Do you have any other questions before you jump off the call, Kareem?
No, I don't, and I am very interested in trying this out. Thank you for the opportunity.
Excellent.
I think we got a question from Kwon, and how would the schedule be? And we're looking at Thursdays, classes on Thursdays from. I'm on 1 to 2, which for you, I'm in Colombia right now, so I'm in a different schedule from you guys. What's the time mark that we decided on?
It'll be 2 to 3 their time, Eastern Daylight Time.
That's right. It'll be 2 to 3 for you guys.
Right.
And then for those 1v1 sessions, we since you're gonna have access to Slack, we can just talk through there and decide what time we're gonna meet each other and stuff like that. Did that answer your question, Kwame?
Okay, and once your class gets going, we'll also publish a couple time slots where we'll have official help desk hours as part of the, especially when we know your assignments are going to get harder.
Yeah.
So somebody's around to support you.
And just to jump in, and maybe Roger or Mark could add to this, just so you guys have a clear understanding of the schedule, there'll be a time that you'll be meeting together for your class. And I think Roger's going to show an example of the class time. But there's also going to be work, and he showed you some things that you're going to have to do when you're offline. Just like you're doing right now with your classes, where you're doing synchronous and asynchronous work, there'll be some things that you're doing offline. And then if you need help, you'll be able to access that help through Slack. Just to be clear. So you're not going to be able to get everything done in that 1 hour class. There's going to be some responsibility that's on you guys to do work outside of your 1 hour class each week.
That is correct. So we're going to be doing, as I mentioned, when I was in the board, we're going to be doing a lecture of maybe 30, 40 minutes. And then the remaining 20 minutes, we're going to go over whatever the assignment was for that week. And I actually have pulled this up. So let me share my screen with you guys so you can see what one of our past students ended up with. So all of you guys are gonna end up here with a portfolio. This just happens to be how he set up his portfolio. Very cool. And let me go to one of his websites that he created. We're gonna show you how to deploy this on the internet, so you can give the URL address to anybody that wants to check this out. Also, of course, employers are gonna be aiming to get to that. So this particular website is grabbing information from a third party, which is called 538 Data. And that means by a third party, I mean somebody else is providing the data. You're not providing the data. And this is literally just getting a bunch of poll results around the country. And he made it visually appealing for us to actually look at poll results right here. So you can go through any of the states and check out the poll results that you have on here. Another one of the websites that he worked on that I personally liked a lot was Brugo. He was looking for places to be able to go to custom breweries that are around town. So if you search around here, I don't know, Miami, and we can search on here, that will actually pull up results around the Miami area of different breweries that are around the area. So he's grabbing all of this from Google and then displaying it for us to see on here. Another one of the features that he added on here is that, for example, we click on this one right here. It shows us exactly where it's at, and it pulls up the map. This map is also being borrowed from Google. So all of this stuff is like we're building on top of somebody else's technology for our purposes, right? And he also pulled up restaurants around the area, because after you finish, having your brews, you want to have something to eat, right? And he pulled up this place down here. He actually went the extra mile. As you can see, the images here are the same for the same restaurant. And the reason why he did that is because sometimes the restaurant doesn't have an image on google.com. So he just put a default image so you can kind of know what it's about. And I think those two examples will work out. Awesome. How difficult is learning how to code, and how many hours of IWT should be recommended? IWT means what?
Independent work time.
Cool.
You're going to have to put in probably 3 to 4 hours a week minimum, just to keep the pace of the class going. So how hard is it to learn? The more you think logically, the better. Math is usually the one topic. Some of the logic will translate. The way we design this course is so that nobody gets overwhelmed. That's why we do the help desk hours. That's why we give you the portal with all the lectures, what the key concepts are, why we have the GitHub so we can help you get through the problem. What we noticed with a lot of the students, especially the high school students, you sort of work at it, and then all of a sudden it goes, that's what I've been doing. And then once that happens, you guys, what we've seen is they go off in all different tangents and start building things. And they make our job harder, because when we don't know what you're building, it's a little bit harder for us to figure out. But it does make it interesting. The one thing about Roger is an experienced developer. So we're not teachers per se. We're developers who are used to teaching other developers how to become better developers. So our expectation is you're going to want to succeed in this. You'll put the time and effort to get the basic concepts. You'll go out and do your assignments. Because remember, the one limitation we have is we're guaranteed 1 hour of FaceTime with you. So we're going to cover a lot of things quickly, but we may give you assignments to watch some of the videos so that we don't have to repeat that lecture. You guys can go through it, and we can just cover the main topics and make sure you got them. So that's where Roger is setting up the schedule of what he's going to teach in class and go through versus what you're going to be assigned. But but most of your work is going to be either watching videos, doing research for your final project, or doing your coding assignments. Take it away, Roger. Did I get all that right?
You got all that right. Right on point. I also put a little algebra 1 equation on there, just so you know how that simple equation will let you know that you're going to need to use your imagination to be able to solve for stuff that's not there, putting values, putting variables into use. So you're going to be seeing those same variables that you're used to in algebra 1, and that's about it. And some logic.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to put it is we're going to do about half of our class, which is normally when we teach, it's 160 hours. So in 20 weeks, we're going to teach you minimum 80 hours to 120 hours of that class. So it's going to be anywhere between 4 to 6 hours of work you're going to have to do off time. But again, if the more we get through, the cooler websites you'll be able to build for your second semester final project.
Yeah, Juan has another question on here, which is, I'm guessing, will we also have opportunities to learn about coding games and websites? And we will definitely be coding websites, and we will definitely be looking into games when we get into actually programming, because I love games. So that's pretty much the reason why.
Yeah. If we can get to, I mean, again, if we had the full time and you're doing the full stack, once you learn the REST API, then you can use the Unify libraries and all that, which is sort of what the basis of most of gaming is off of. But once you learn how to make those API calls and the logic that goes around it, yeah, there's nothing that says you can't do game development.
Thanks.
I just have 2 questions for Roger specifically. What you went over originally to explain everything to us. My first question is, you said we were going to get paid in like little Bitcoin pennies. Is there going to be like some kind of, first of all, I didn't even know we were getting paid for this. That's kind of sick. But are we going to need to make like some kind of account to hold all the cash?
Yeah, I don't think anybody knew about that until I just said it right now, not even Tia. So yeah, so you guys are actually, so you're going to get Satoshis. And for that, you will be creating an account on a place called localbitcoins.com. And once you create your account there, I will be sending your Satoshis there.
Okay. Second question. This one's just like personal. It's not really about the class. But I've been playing video games my whole life, ever since I was 2. They're like my favorite thing to do of all time. I could play them all day, which I do. I play them all day, every day. What's your favorite genre of video game?
Strategy.
Strategy. Okay.
Yeah, I like adventure, and I've been getting a lot. So I'm right now studying something called Unity and C# to be able to write virtual reality and augmented reality applications. So I'm getting a lot into indie games. So I'm exploring that genre at the moment.
Nice.
All right, I got a question too. Well, I'm an entrepreneur. That's what my goal is. Like, so I want to build a business through website, because I want to fix on cars. I want to know how can it benefit me by learning coding.
Oh yeah. So this is going to be great for you because you get to develop. Well, to be able to be an entrepreneur, you got to have your own personal brand, right? And nowadays, you got to have a website for you to be able to have a brand at all. So any ideas that you have, say, I couldn't hear you that good. Cars, you said something about cars?
Yes, I want to do cars. I want to own business for certain things, and I would like to learn how to make TV shows, because I like cartoons, like anime and stuff like that. I like that, so I want to know how to do that too. But I want to understand what coding needs to do with it.
Yeah. So on the anime side, which I love anime too, by the way, I just finished the whole Hunter X like in 2 weeks, because I was first just got introduced to it, so it was pretty awesome. But through here, I wish I could show you another one of the portfolios from the summer boot camp. One of our students created actually a portfolio where he showed all of the animes that he actually watched, and that's where I got into Hunter X. And so you can develop any business idea that you have. You can immediately create a website for it and maybe put it on a mailing list, and then you can get a bunch of hits on that website. So that way, with very little investment, you can test out the markets to see if there's a market for your business. So it's going to be extremely beneficial, because I'm going to show you how to make websites like this.
Maily?
Say that again.
You said it's called Maily?
It's called what? Maily?
Maily? Something like.
He was asking about, he's cutting out, but he was asking about something that you said. Like, you must have mentioned something. He said, what did you say it was called?
If it was the anime show, it was called Hunter X. I think that was the only thing I would think.
Okay. I love the question of the Gabriel, and I put that in the chat that I love this question, because I love the idea of thinking about this beyond just coding. Like, how does this apply to your other interests? I think is really the heart of his question. And as an entrepreneur, like, I know for me as a consumer, I won't even purchase something from somebody if they don't have a website. Like, I feel like they're not legit. You know what I mean? So I love the idea of thinking about it from an entrepreneur lens. And thank you for answering that question. There's some other folks that we haven't heard from, and I want to invite you into the conversation. What questions do you have so that you can make a decision as to whether or not this internship is a good fit for you? So I'd love to hear your voices or see your questions in the chat.
So if this was to actually become a possibility as an internship, when would it actually like start?
Great question. The start date is actually October 8th. The application deadline is October the 1st. So if you get off this call today, and we're going to go over next steps in a few moments, but if you get off this call today and you're like, oh, I really want to do this, don't waste any time. You can go ahead and jump into the applications. They are open now. And all the LTICs, so all these cohorts are going to get started on October the 8th.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Enya, Ashanti, Raymond, James, anybody else that I haven't heard from? Any other questions? Well, Amy, I've heard a lot from you.
I would like to know, but like I want to get more of the understanding of it, because I understand it, but not completely. Like I don't understand. Like I understand a little bit of it. You do kind of.
You wanna try to write the question in the chat, Gabriel, maybe, because it cuts off a little bit.
I know he's saying that he wants to have a more understanding about what it is. So
So here's the way it works is so when I sell to companies, I'll usually sell to a CEO or chief marketing officer or somebody on the business side, and they'll have an idea. And then I'm going to give them a proposal that says, okay, you're going to give me $100,000 and I'm going to build X for you. If that client doesn't really know what he's communicating to me, you know, what does he want his design? What is his, what's his look and feel? What's the functionality features that he wants to communicate to his customer base? You know, what is it he's trying to do to provide automation or provide a service to his clients? That a lot of what we do in this class is we're teaching you the building blocks and how you translate the requirement from a business side into actually building something. That's why that's why I try to stress, you don't have to use this class to become a developer. But if you're going to do anything in business in these days that's digital, the more you understand how things work, the more you understand what you're paying for and how things get built and what's a reasonable estimate and what's a reasonable time span and what can be done with technology. The problem is a lot of business people today did not take computer science in high school or college. So when I work with a lot of my clients, they don't have the experience. So they have to hire additional people who act as translators, what we call business analysts. You know, if you learn this and you participate in this, you'll be able to develop your own website, or you'll be able to communicate to people what it is you're trying to do, and then go do the research to figure out how to utilize the AWS cloud, the Google cloud, to talk to those applications on the backside to build something that's creative for what you're trying to sell somebody. We had a group out of our Career Source Central Florida class, and they wanted to do a beauty shop products. And with the information that they got from us, they actually went and built their own website to sell their own personal brand of beauty products, where they could actually take payment, do a e-commerce catalog, go ahead and collect client information, set up marketing campaigns. Again, that's the power of what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how these things are built. And because you know how they're built, you can figure out how you can take that knowledge and what you can build with it potentially.
That is great. Thank you so much, Mark. I love that. I love the idea that really that these skills that you're learning are transferable, right? I want to just switch gears because we're almost out of time. We have 5 minutes left. I'm going to share my screen And we're just gonna close out with some next steps. We already did that. We went through our informational interview. So what are our next steps? If you have not already, you guys are gonna need to update your resumes and create a cover letter. Some of you have that already. If you don't, you can use your passion essay as a cover letter. And I've been encouraging students just to speak to their interest, right, in your cover letter, because this is something, a tool that you're gonna be able to use now and beyond your time in high school. You're gonna complete the online application. Nina did drop that application in the chat. You'll also get a follow-up email with the link to the application so that you can do that. You're gonna submit your application by October 1st. That is the deadline. And then check your email and look out for a response from Nina or myself, letting you know whether you were selected into the cohort. Just so you know, the cohort spaces are limited, so please do not procrastinate. If you know after this call today, I love this, this is what I wanna do, get on it, complete the application, get it in, so we can make a decision and get you placed. And then actually, other than that, that's it. The application will ask you to choose your top 3 choices. So if you've attended other sessions, you can pick those other ones. Just mark this one as your number 1 if it is your number 1, and pick 2 other options that you may be interested in. Again, that's because the space limitations. Any questions about next steps?
For one thing, I would like to keep in contact with a few people because I could hear it, but not completely because the computer in Zoom is like, it's getting laggy after a while. So I can only hear some of the things y'all have said. So that's why I would like to still keep in contact with y'all to know if y'all could still explain to me over the phone or something, because I would like to understand more, but I can't understand through Zoom like that.
Okay. Gabriel, that's a great point. I'm actually glad that you said that. This whole session was recorded, so you'll be able to go back and watch anything that you missed or you weren't able to hear. But you can always reach out to Nina. You can reach out to me. We can connect you with Code Schools, whatever you need to get the support that you need so that you can make a decision, okay? And that's a great point. Any of you can go back and look at this video if it'll help you to make a decision as to whether you want to do this. And we'll be sharing the videos out. Any other questions?
No, not for me.
Well, I do want to, Nina, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
No, it's all good. Yeah, if folks have any questions or need help with next steps, let me know. If you need help with your resume or anything, I can help out with that.
Perfect. So thank you so much for being on the call. We're ending on time. I love that. You guys are amazing. For those of you who are quiet, if you have questions later, send them our way. I'll make sure that I get them over to Roger. He doesn't mind, right, Roger? So I'll make sure that I get those questions over. If you weren't comfortable sharing questions now, or if you just later you think of something else that you need to know to help you to make your decision, email those questions right over to us and we'll make sure that we get them in the hands of the folks that have the answers. Okay? Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. For sure, shout out to both schools and your coders. We're excited and have a great rest of your day.
Have a great day, guys.
You too.
Bye now.